From Sam's Club to 100 million sold in real estate, my next guest is going to show you the game on how to get there. This is from his side. Let's get it. CP, Christian Pace.
Yes, sir.
The man, the myth, the legend, over $100 million done in real estate. What's up?
What's up, man? Thank you for having me.
My guy, you
Thank
pulled
you
up
for
on
having
me.
me.
I appreciate you.
Of
All
course.
love. You already know.
Always love.
He took time out of his busy schedule to be here with us. We know time is money. $100 million, time is money. Louder for the people in the back. Time is money. So, bro. I appreciate you pulling up on me.
Of course.
$100 million to some people is like unattainable, right?
Right.
But you've hit that mark. Like, what was the feeling of like, man, we had $100 million? Like, how'd that feel?
That's a great question, man. Honestly, I feel like blessed.
Yeah.
Definitely blessed.
Mhm.
I'm, very grateful for my team and everybody involved.
Yeah.
Especially yourself, right? Like even people that want to give us our flowers and just invite us out, man, it means a lot. So thank you.
Of course.
When it comes to the $100 million sold, I just feel like that's just a drop in the bucket in terms of where we want to be, right?
Come on now.
So I feel like, I don't celebrate too much.
Mhm.
And everybody around me is like, yo, Christian, you got to, slow down, smell the roses sometimes. But
Yeah.
not that I'm not grateful, but again, it's just I know where I want to be. So it's a lot more work to be done.
Right.
Mhm.
And just for the people out there who are wondering, like, $100 million sold, like, that's not money in escrow. Those are not deals in escrow.
Mhm.
We're talking about signed, sealed, delivered.
Right.
Just so y'all know that. And he is a broker. So in terms of being a broker versus a real estate agent, for people who don't know, like, what's the main difference?
That's a good question. So, the main difference, right, is if you're a real estate agent, you could be affiliated with a company or a broker,
Mm-hmm.
and then you work under a broker, right? So in my case, I am a broker, and basically I can, run, operate, or start any of my own brokerages and hire any agents that I want on my team.
That's fire.
So that's the main difference. And a lot of people have told me, again, I don't really stop to celebrate. When I actually became a broker, I was 26 at the time. So this is like the end of 2023.
Mm-hmm.
And to my knowledge, I don't know any other brokers that have been the same age as me or close in age as me. Everybody that I met, me personally, that's a broker is like, usually I would say 40 and up.
So that's crazy. So 100 million sold under 30.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not even the end of it.
It's not the end.
That's not the end. We got way more, and we've talked about it a bit off camera, but what was the most necessary thing that you've done that helped you get to 100 million sold?
Man, that's a great question. Honestly, bro, I think it's just relationships, right? I feel like a lot of people, get the two mixed up when they say, hey, you should be out networking, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like networking is a good tactic.
Yeah.
But I feel like me personally, if you're out networking, right, you're just seeking people to seek opportunities.
Right.
And I feel like every relationship, right, has to have a give and take. And I feel like everybody has to be valuable to one another, right? So that's why I say building relationships. Like you and I, for an example, we met several years ago at the barbershop, right? And we getting locked in since.
Right.
And it just, it was small talk. And then we're like, hey, man, how your kids doing? How your wife doing? Boom, boom, boom. And we actually became friends.
Yep.
So I think people usually say, right, don't do business with friends, but I totally disagree with that. I feel like if you have good friends, then you're going to do good business.
And I think, just to second that, I think that what you said is real important, right? Don't do business with friends. And I think that I don't agree with that personally, because even for me, and I'm not saying this is how I find my friends, but I feel like me and my friends have a similar interest,
right,
and similar habits,
right,
and similar focus.
Right.
So like when we on the phone, we talking about things that we enjoy,
right? But
we enjoy bread, we enjoy business. No, right. We enjoy family, like our faith, like those are things that make us friends.
Absolutely.
And like just going to faith, it's like iron sharpens iron. So even in that's part of like a brotherhood and growing together. You feel what I'm saying? So I think that doing business with friends is good, especially when all your friends have their head on straight,
Absolutely.
right? And I think that even this podcast shows, we've had people that's done, you've done 100 million. I got 400 million with my boys alone. Over, shout out to LT.
Right.
Grammy Award winning Zaire, he put up on the pod. We talked about this, but everybody said the same thing. Everybody said the same thing. That's over 500 million. Everybody said the same thing.
Right.
Relationships are key.
Relationships are key, bro.
To building wealth. And I think that if you could send a text message to somebody to sell a $20 million house, and it's just a text message instead of finding that client,
right,
that's way easier than having to go find a $20 million client.
Right.
Or a client that wants to buy a $20 million house, excuse me. So I do second that. And I did want to ask you this, because I know you're married. What was that like in terms of like just being able to provide that lifestyle for your family? I think a lot of men, we struggle with that as a man. Like, I want to provide the best life I can for my family. So can you speak a little bit to how you felt once you saw the ball rolling and you started to sell your first house and your second house and you got to rolling, like how that felt?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, I mean, my situation was a little bit different, right? So when my wife at the time, she was 18, and I was 19, just turning 20 when I had my first son. So I was, in college, trying to figure things out at the time.
Yeah.
And I really knew nothing about real estate. Like, my parents, they never owned a home. Wow. So we moved to like 11, 12 different houses as I was growing up. So we never had like the stability of owning a house, right? So at the time, my best friend's mom, she was like, hey, you guys come stay with me for Christmas. So we stayed with her for Christmas, like a week. And at the time, she was telling us, hey, get into real estate. I was still in high school at the time. So like flash forward 2 or 3 years later, and, my son's on the way. I'm working. I was working at Sam's Club at the time. I didn't know what to do. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take her advice and start to go, to real estate classes. And I would say like, 6 or 7 months go by, I get my real estate license. And I actually didn't sell my first house until like 6 to 7 months after that. It's tough, right? So mind you, at the time, I'm like 19, 20 years old. I'm door knocking, cold calling, and people are kind of looking at me like, you just a kid. Like, what do you know about real estate? What do you know about selling people's houses and stuff? Right. And the first opportunity I got was actually a for sale by owner, meaning like somebody was selling their own house and representing themselves.
Okay.
So, shout out Miss Gloria.
Shout out to Miss Gloria.
Shout out to Miss Gloria. She's appreciated. So, I called her, texted her like 3 months in a row, every week, twice a week, and she finally gave me a chance.
That's fire.
So after that, it started to slowly build. And at the time, I was working at a paving company, which is my father-in-law's company, and Sam's Club. Okay. So I was working both jobs. And I would say like a year and a half, 2 years in, I eventually went full-time into real estate. And after that, it was just...
Never looked back.
Never looked back.
So from Sam's Club to 100 million sold.
That's it.
I didn't say it. Look, you feel me? So, okay. Speaking to that, so you working at Sam's Club,
right?
Working at the paving company, finally get your first deal. How did you bounce from that to like, okay, let me get to another deal? That give you momentum? Did you start to understand the game a little bit more to where you can like sell better, or how did that change like your trajectory, I guess, for the next house? Because you said it took 7 months for that first house, right? So like typically, I mean, what's the space between to get that next deal, that next check, right? Like, what does that look like for you?
Yeah, no. So after that, I want to say the next house I sold was maybe a month and a half or 2 months after that. So basically, by the time I was closing escrow on this house, I had already had another deal going.
Fire.
And at the time, basically you have mentors like within the brokerage, but some of these people are really successful, really busy, so they don't have the time to physically sit there, right, and really help you through everything. So I kind of just start teaching myself. I was going on YouTube, reading contracts, learning everything that I could.
So that was before ChatGPT.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So it wasn't just like, hey, how do I do this?
Yeah,
nah, you had to go figure it out.
Yeah, I'm literally like buying books, reading books.
Okay.
On YouTube.
Okay.
And, like real estate, we kind of have California standard contracts, and you could obviously change the verbiage depending on each person and what they're looking for. So I would spend hours a day just reading that. So if I got an objection like, hey, you're too young or you haven't been in this long, like I would be like, okay, let me show you what I can do.
So you was well versed. You be prepared. So just in case for any objection, anything that people will throw at you, you will be ready for that, essentially.
Right.
What's going on, y'all? Hope y'all enjoying this conversation. If you haven't already, join the school community below. We've done over $500 million in deals and counting. If you want to know about vending, AI automations, real estate, being a loan officer, we got Grammy Award winners in there. So if you do music, everything that you can think of to actually build wealth and get to it, we have it inside this group. Proven. Click the link below. I'm giving you a 7-day free trial. Let's go. Let me ask you, what is the biggest check you've made off of a single deal?
I want to say this is like last September, so 2024.
Mm-hmm.
And this is probably like 20 days worth of work.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a full cash deal.
Mm.
And I mean, it was like, I'll give you a number. It was like 180,000
for one deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. I mean, currently though, we're working on another deal with Ross Perot Jr. So his father actually ran for president.
Wow.
This is like in 96 maybe.
Yeah.
So it's a company called Hillwood. I'm working on this with my partner. Shout out Gerald, man. So eventually we should be closing in November this year. It's probably going to be like double that figure.
Double that.
Yeah.
You said, where do we apply to be the real estate agent?
Yeah, I got you. I see all the details.
The details is in the description. Okay. Yeah. So wow. So $108,000 off of 20 days of work. Mm-hmm. What does that feel like? Just seeing that check or seeing it hit the account, like you did 20 days of work and now you got somebody's yearly salary or maybe somebody's 2-year salary. Like, how does that feel?
Man, I was blessed. I was like, man, honestly, so that it came in a check, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, bro, like for like 15 days, I didn't spend $1. I just kept looking at it every day. I just kept looking at it. And basically, right, I would leave.
Yeah.
Leave home, go to work. Work, whatever.
Yeah.
And then I'll come back home and I'll just be staring at it. You know what I'm saying? So,
like, man.
So it was crazy. At the time, I was living in an apartment.
Okay.
And then my wife and I, we actually got our own house.
That's fire.
Yeah. So, it's, man, I'm...
Wait. It's okay. No, I ain't mad. He said, hey, baby. He said, baby, I got something to show you.
Yeah.
Said, go and pick up any of these houses.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
This your limit, though, so slow you right.
Yeah, we got to take it a little bit easy. Got to get a few more of these.
Get a couple, and then you can pick what you want. No, that's hard. That's fire, bro. That's a testament to the work, bro. I know we talked about it a little bit. We'll go into it a little bit more, but like from Sam's Club, working 2 jobs, to even being in an apartment,
right,
to then move into your crib. I think that's in 20 days of work, and I don't want people to think that that's just 20 days of work. That's not just 20 days of work. That's 20 days of work after the grind of growing, learning how to be the best real estate agent he can be, and countless hours of putting in that work. So I do want people to understand that it wasn't just 20 days where I magically appeared to be a real estate agent. I magically appeared to be a broker, and now here's $180,000 check. So let's just clear the air with that. So y'all not just in La La Land, right? No, let's clear the air. Right. But it is possible. So
absolutely.
I know you do residential, and I think that's where you started off, like the bulk of your deals, correct?
Right.
Okay. Can you explain a little bit? And was this a residential deal?
This particular deal was a commercial deal. So it was a 1031 exchange. So what that means is basically somebody's like selling a property and then transferring the funds into a different property for tax basis.
Yeah.
So it was a residential sale, and then they transferred into a commercial unit. Mm-hmm. So that was my first introduction into commercial.
Yeah.
And after that, I'm like, okay.
Oh, we rolling.
Yeah.
We rolling.
I'm into everything.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'd have been there too. Like, hey, shut it down. Tell them we doing nothing.
Commercial only.
Hey, don't. You say residential? Yeah. Bye.
Yeah.
No, I'm just playing. Nah, but so for those of you who don't know, the 1031 exchange allows you to sell your property, and when you transfer it over, I guess it defers the taxes, correct?
Absolutely.
So it defers the tax, so you're not paying taxes out of that capital gain that you made. Also, for those who don't know, if you're married and you sell your property, you get up to $500,000 tax free. So you keep that. So that's something I know. He blessed me with some games, well, we good. But anyways, I do want to, that is, first of all, that's fire. Second of all, can we talk a little bit about the residential deals and like what that looks like? So what will be, I guess, your biggest residential deal? And I'm not even in terms of the check, but like, do you deal with people that are just buying $500,000 houses to get to the 100 million? Are you dealing with people who buying $1 million homes to get to 100 million? Like what was like the sauce to get there, I guess?
Yeah, no. I mean, my team and I, we represent anybody.
Okay.
So I just want to, everybody out there, it's love for everybody.
I will turn the collar down. Nothing. No, I got you.
Yeah, I mean, whether you're buying a $200,000 house or, a $20 million home, right? We want to bless everybody and be incorporated with what everybody has going on. Just because there's a lot of our clients that, for an example, would buy a $400,000 house and they would sit down and say, hey, Christian, how could I get to a $1 million, $2 million house in the next, 4 to 6 years?
Of course.
And we would build them a plan. And there's so many of our clients that have started from a $400,000 home and use that home to, acquire multiple rentals.
Okay.
Cash flowing assets.
Okay.
And now, they're buying a $2 million, $3 million house. Like, I'll give you a perfect prime example.
Okay.
I have a client that we actually just closed 2 months ago, and they purchased this property for $2.1 million cash.
Ooh.
And 4 or 5 years ago, they bought a house, their first house, for $300,000.
Wow.
And had a loan to get that house.
Okay.
And 5-year plan, we sat down, we helped them acquire rentals. I want to say right now they have about 15.
15 rentals?
Yes.
Wow.
And basically they're on track to doing like 3 rentals a year. Some commercial, some residential. And then they ended up, refinancing or adding value to these properties.
Okay.
And earning equity. And it turned into them having the cash payment for their new home.
That's fire. So then think that us just saying you're a real estate broker will be kind of shortchanging you a little bit.
Okay.
No, I just no. Seriously, and just what you like. So, of course you do commercial. Of course you do residential. You've done 100 million in sold in deals closed. And we're not talking about escrow. We're talking about sold, signed, sealed, delivered. Because when we're talking about escrow, I think we might have talked off camera, maybe almost close to 200, almost maybe. Yeah, so we're not even talking about what we almost got or what we thought was going to happen. So that, if we talking about almost, which don't pay the bills, we're talking about almost clear, maybe near 200 million, I guess, maybe. But closed deals, you've done 100 million. And for me, I want to know, was that a majority residential? Was it, and we talked about the commercial check, but like, was that a majority residential? Was it like a piece commercial? Like, what was the percentage?
I would say up until this point currently,
yes, sir,
maybe 90% residential,
wow,
10% commercial. Now, also, just to clear the air for everybody, right? That the largest check I got at that time was just because, again, it was a mix of, residential and commercial, right? So there are residential deals that would make you more money than commercial deals. It just depends on the deal, right? It could be a $5 million commercial deal that you're making anywhere from 4 to 10%, or you can have, I can have you come in and be like, bro, I'm ready. I just sold a business for $300 million, and now you want to buy a $25 million house at 6%, whatever. I mean, that would pay you more than a commercial deal, right? So it really just depends on the area. It depends on the pricing of each, commercial versus residential.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's again, I know we talked about this a little bit off camera. It's not that my team and I really prefer either one.
Right.
It's, we're here to help you with whatever you need.
Yeah, we'll do whatever.
Whatever.
I got you.
You call, I'm coming like Batman.
Hello?
You know what I'm saying?
You rang.
Yeah. Hey, you rang. I was waiting on your call.
Yeah, no, I got you. That's fire.
For sure.
Okay. The residential's fire. The commercial's fire. But also, I think what you said earlier, I think is really important. You help your clients not only buy houses, but build a portfolio of houses and build a plan, a 5-year plan, 10-year plan, however many years they have in mind to build wealth. I think that's one of the most important parts. Like it's because they're not making any more real estate.
Right. Absolutely.
And probably the rich people in the world have real estate.
Right.
So I think that even making a plan to get more of that is that's wealth building. That's
Right.
not just a broker. That's not just a real estate agent. You know
Right.
what I mean? I think that's a lot more. It's almost a life agent, if you will.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm a manager of life real quick, and we're gonna get you to where you need to be.
Absolutely.
Can you speak on that?
Absolutely. And, so basically my sign off too, is funny that you bring that up. So every time we close with a client, right, we'll send them like a handwritten letter, or if we're in the midst of trying to acquire a client, I always sign off as like, you are a lifetime client.
That's fire.
So, I mean, there's a lot of real estate agents, real estate brokers in the world, right? So I think what we try to do as far as like to separate ourselves is not just come in and help you buy a house or help you sell a house, and we're like, all right, we're gone, right? We want to sit down and say, hey, look, basically, if you get a loan on this property, right, you owe the mortgage company X amount per month.
Okay.
How would you like to become the bank, right? And you can get people in your properties that are paying you X amount a month, and that antennas go up. Like, okay,
Right.
I'm interested.
Of course.
So that's how we try to separate ourselves. And then, now we become, like we talked about earlier, we become friends, right? We establish a real relationship. I'm not just a salesman trying to get you to buy a product so I can make $1, right? And at the end of the day, this is how, I eat, my team eats, my family eats. So how could we make it a consistent thing, right?
Right.
Not where it's like, we just sold a house this month and it's dry for the next 3 or 4. Right. It's like, okay, let's sit down. Let's build a plan with you. Now, if we have 15 clients that just sold or bought, and then, out of those 15, every month, 3 of them want to buy 2 or 3 properties, right? It's a consistent thing. And not only are we sharing our value and helping them, but they're helping us as well.
That's fire. That's really dope. I think that's really dope. And just to speak to that a little bit, I think managing wealth is a separate side of the real estate game, right? And I think, like you said, to be a lifetime client, that is like constant check-ins without having more work. It's like constant check-ins, constant like, hey, this is what we're doing with our plan. Like, where are we at? Like checking our KPIs, I guess, and then seeing where we are in relative to your goals and what you've told me you wanted to do. When it comes to commercial clients, is that the same? Is that the same kind of thing that you do, or you haven't done that yet in terms of commercial? You know what I'm saying? Like, do you do KPIs with those commercial clients as well, or is it just like, hey, here's this deal, you want this deal, we got it, like we're good? Or how does that work?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I would say probably more so. Even with commercial clients. Okay. Just because 99% of the time when we have a commercial client, they are only investing in this property for return.
Okay.
Like there's almost no emotional ties in commercial. It's like, okay, this building it looks like this. Okay, I'm gonna make it look a little bit nicer. Yeah. This is, the ROI that I would like to receive.
Of course.
And that's it, right? It's strictly business.
That's fine.
But when it comes to residential, right, it's different. People are like mostly involved. They're like, oh, I want to raise a family here, or
it's a good area, good neighborhood, good schools.
Or unfortunately, mom or dad or grandparents passed away.
Of course.
So now their emotions are tied into the life change. You know what I mean? So so it's definitely a large difference.
Okay. From hearing the check, I still want to ask, what do you which one do you prefer? Like residential or commercial? And I know we don't turn a collar down to nothing.
Right.
Seeing that deal, did that make you be like, well, maybe I could, I could slide over here to commercial a little bit?
Yeah. So when it comes to preference, man, I love business so much, right? So I would say when it comes to the business aspect, I like commercial.
Okay.
More.
Okay.
Now when it comes to just like the relationship aspect, then single family for sure, or residential. I mean, just to clear the air too, that particular instance was like a 101, right? Just such a quick close, the 1031 exchange. We had all our ducks in a row already.
Yeah.
So commercial tends to take way longer. Like I just mentioned, we're going to be closing the deal in November, and it's going to be double that amount, right? And there's 2 of us on the deal, Gerald and I. So it would be close to $400,000 each, like for he and I. You see what I'm saying? So, but this particular deal had taken us 4 years. We've been working on this one for 4 years.
For 4 years?
Since 2021.
Okay, so I had another question, but we got asked my question about that. So what takes 4 years? Like how does a deal, and I know you said it's worth $400,000 in terms of commission, like each is crazy, but what goes into a deal that you're gonna make $400,000 off of that takes 4 years? Like, why does the deal take that long?
So okay, in this particular case, it's an assemblage, right? So what that means is, let's say you own 1 acre of land, and then you have 99 other families around you that each own an acre. So an assemblage would mean they buy each acre individually, and then once they get to that 100 acre mark, then they put it all together. So it takes a long time because everybody has to settle on a figure that they're willing to sell for. And in our particular case, our clients were going through a probate situation.
That's tough.
And the probate situation, it was the parents passed away. So then there was like 6 or 7 siblings. And then the siblings have kids and grandkids. So now it turned into an all-out warfare. It's like, I want this amount, I want this amount, I want this amount, which is why I highly encourage all our clients to establish a trust.
I was literally,
and then you avoid the whole probate situation, right?
Yep.
And for those of you that don't know, basically what probate means is, if, let's say I own a property, I have 2 sons, I don't put any of my properties in a trust, then it goes to probate, and then that basically just leaves it up for the judge or the court to establish who gets what.
And there's also a probate tax.
And there's a probate tax.
So you're losing money.
Losing a lot of money.
Yeah.
And it's just an inconvenience, right? It's a total inconvenience. Now, our condolences to the family that passed away, but it's a lot that goes on in this particular deal. So now it's like we've been working with 3 judges, 5 lawyers. Tough. We've gone over 58 contracts.
That's crazy.
New contracts, right?
Crazy.
And I'm talking like dictionary type contracts. So it's a lot of work that has to be done. So like when I was talking about that, the first commercial deal, the 20-day one, it's like
night and day.
That might happen once every 10 years.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. So, and like you said, which is clear, the trust is very important. I think that establishing, like, first of all, you can do all that work to get the house.
Right.
You might as well secure it and make sure it's good for your family. Because first of all, even being a homeowner is a blessing, but you do want to pass that down to your family, your kids, so they can start on top of your shoulders instead of having to start where you started.
Absolutely.
But even going into that, I didn't even know the assemblage. It's called an assemblage.
Assemblage, yeah.
Assemblage, yeah. That's crazy. I didn't even think about to assemble all those units and then package it together. So they're packaging those units together, and then they're selling the whole entire property as a whole away.
So
how does that work?
So when they assemble all these acres, it's basically like what you guys see, right? You driving down the highway, like Target warehouses or Amazon or anything like that, Walmart.
Yeah.
So that's what they're doing. They're basically acquiring. It's like, I want to say it's like 2 million square feet.
Oh wow.
And out of that 100 acres, they might just put like 10 acres of storage space in 10 different little areas. You know what I mean? So it might be like Target, Amazon, Walmart, all these things, and then they just sublease them. Lease them out, or Walmart could sublease it to somebody else
for the cash flow.
So that is like the big commercial space, right? So or they could sell it. They could be like, hey, now we have 100 acres, and if we bought it at 100 million, we're gonna sell it at 380 million.
Right.
But it just makes more sense to have the constant cash flow.
Of course. And then because you still get the equity of the land, the property, or whatever's on their land, and that keeps growing, but you also keep cash flowing every month. So you still have money coming in, but you're also on the back end growing equity.
Right. And as the years go by, right, rents go up.
Right.
So you know what I'm saying? So
that's fire, bro. That's you learn something new. You learn something new every day.
For
that's
sure.
fire, bro. I didn't even know that. I didn't, like, now my brain is like, it's rolling now. It's rolling now. I'm like,
bro, gonna go outside. Assembling.
I'm trying to
let me get your house.
I need everybody. What you selling it for? No, okay, cool. That's fire. Okay, so just stepping away from business, we are dads and husbands. Can you speak a little bit about like a work-life balance? I know I did. He laughed because I look, I'm trying to figure out, I need help.
I need help.
She talking about, come inside. I got to go, girl. I'm trying to get this money. So can you speak a little bit to like the work-life balance with everything going on? I know you're a broker. You have a team under you, but still you're a father, a husband. Can you speak a little bit to that? Like, how is that work-life balance?
Me personally, I would say a work-life balance doesn't exist.
Okay.
I'm gonna be honest.
Okay, cool.
I just don't think it exists because like I'll wake up really early, bro. Like like 4:30 a.m.
Yep.
Then I go to the gym. From the gym, right? I go home, I shower, say my prayers. You know what I'm saying? And then usually I drop my son off at school.
That's fire.
And I'm like, oh, I want to drop him off at school. This way I can just connect with him, right?
Right.
I'm not on the phone. He's not on the phone.
Yeah.
Like radio's off and we're talking. So that's like a good portion of my morning. And then I get straight to it after that.
Right.
So it could be, I'm working from 8 to 5 or 8 to 7 or 8 to 8, And then my youngest son, when I get home, he'll be 2 this month. So I'm like trying to, bathe him, focus on him for at least an hour. And he's still super young, right? So we playing, coloring, and then he falls asleep. Yeah. And then, I talk to my wife a little bit and then I'm asleep. So what I try to do when it comes to balance is whatever I'm engaged in, I try to give 100% of my time. So like if I'm working, it's 100% of my time. Or if I'm at my son's boxing, event, I'm fully focused on that. Or if I'm out with my wife, I'm fully focused on her. Yeah. And I feel like it doesn't necessarily give you an edge or give you like a real timeline of organization, but everybody feels appreciated within the moment.
I feel that. And you guys, if you have been tuning in, you've heard the same thing from multiple people who have been successful in their field. There's no work-life balance, but when you're present, be present. I think that's the main thing. Keeping the main thing is the main thing. Like you're gonna have to provide for your family, and that's just what it is as a man. But when you're around your family, be around your family. It's not business always happens. And of course, he gets a call like, "Hey, we got this house." If we try to get it off, he like, "Hey, just for a second, I gotta step away." But like, for the most part, he's not on his phone, not focused on his children. And I think that's something that's a lot. That's big, right? And even my last guest, I appreciate, that's my brother. He talked about it. He talked about how when he's in the car driving with son, there's no radio, there's no phones. It's like, well, let's connect. Like, how was your day? Like, what's going on with you? So they know that I can rely on my dad, regardless of him being busy. I know he's there for me, and I know we're gonna get that specific block of time. And I think that's real important. And you did say prayers. Can you speak a little bit? Because I know we talked about it, like you working in 2 jobs, work Sam's Club, the pavers. Can you speak about like your faith and your prayers on getting from that point to now, like having a $180,000 check sitting there from 20 days of work? Can you speak like, $100 million sold? Can you speak to that?
Oh, absolutely, man. For me, right, I take no credit for nothing. It's all God.
Come on, man.
Yeah, it's all God. And no matter how long it takes, right, I'm always appreciative.
Of course.
And it's one of those things that I'm constantly thanking God, but I'm constantly asking, right? It's like, asking you shall receive. So I don't believe, I don't believe in any type of limitation.
Come on.
Like, I don't believe in any type of limitation at all, right? There's a lot of people that say, oh, I don't think you could be healthy and rich and have a good family and have a good life, right? I totally disagree with that.
Like, I disagree too.
I know we could be healthy, have a great family, have a great life, be happy, etc., be rich, and all these things. And not just rich in money, right? Just rich in life, rich in friendship, all these things, right? And I think asking God for wisdom, for wealth, and for riches, and for anything, right? Health, friendships, loyalty, is important, bro.
That's where it starts at.
That's where it starts. And I constantly ask, right? I constantly ask. And as soon as I ask, I thank God. Even if I don't have it yet. I'm like, I know it's coming.
Amen.
I
love that, bro. I love that. I think I asked my guest this on purpose because I think people need to understand that though you've done 100 million, right? So I think that people seeing the root and the foundation of it, right, is giving glory to God in that.
Absolutely.
You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
Like people always, the root of money is all evil.
Right.
Is evil, excuse me. But I think the biggest thing is what do you do with that money, or what was your goal in getting it? What do you bless the people you're around? Are you like, no, it's all for me? Is it like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying like I work to give my money away. I'm not saying that, but there's still a difference in being generous and humble when you get what you've prayed for. And I think that's the biggest thing. And even just just conversations, and you can tell like your mannerisms and how you speak, you can tell you have a humility about you, but also a confidence. And I think that's really key, because being humble does not mean not being confident.
Oh, absolutely.
You feel what I'm saying?
I let it.
So like you can be confident and humble at the same time. I think that's like kind of what you kind of exude in what we talk about in our conversations. You feel what I'm saying? I appreciate that, man. So in terms of the deals you've done, right? Have you got to work with anybody in particular that's like maybe entertainers or sports figures or anything like that? Like, has that come across your desk since you are at that like $100 million mark?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And again, like going back to praying to God, right? When I first got my license, my first prayer was, God, please give me the opportunity to represent athletes, right? Okay. And again, I'm willing to represent anybody. Right. But my main goal was I wanted to represent athletes, and I wanted to represent high net worth individuals, whether they were high net worth at the time or not. Like I said, building our clients up, right? So recently, just a few months ago, I had the ability to close with Jordan Love and Ronica Stone, which is his wife. Okay. And she's a professional volleyball player. Wow. And obviously Jordan Love, go Pack, go. Shout out Green Bay Packers, man.
Hey, look, don't be mad. Look, y'all got to chill. Don't be going crazy in the comments.
Yeah, in the comments, they're like, oh, man, I'm a Cowboys fan. I'm a Steelers fan.
Chill.
Man, look, he gave me the opportunity. We talk to this day. He's a super cool guy. And like you say, to being humble and being confident, he exudes the same thing. We talk about, right, doing business with friends, establishing a friendship. Yeah. He's very similar to us in that regard.
That's fine.
Amazing dude. So shout out my guy Jordan Love, man. Shout out to
you to pull up on the pod too.
We need you on the pod. Come on, man. But but honestly, bro, yeah, it's and it was a surreal feeling, right?
That's fine.
I'm like, damn. And like you talk about the confidence, right? I'm always confident. Yeah. You have to be,
of course.
But I was nervous at the time. It's kind of like I know the system is the same, right? Mm-hmm. But you want to have a good impression, and it's kind of like, right? You're in the NBA. You pray to God to get to the NBA Finals. Right. You got there. Right. The job's not done until you get it done. Right. So I was definitely nervous, but we got it done. And again, we established a great relationship, and he's done some amazing things for me, man.
That's fine. I think that like even talking about that, I think the biggest thing is, like you said before, I prayed for this.
Right.
And even just giving glory to God, like that's what you pray for, and then look like you put in the work. Like you didn't pray for it and sit back and be like, okay, God, bring it to me.
Right.
You pray for it. You did residential deals. You did multiple deals. We talking about you've been working on a deal for 4 years.
Right.
We talk about another commercial deal. We talk about having 2 jobs.
Right.
While you're trying to figure out life, being in an apartment, like we talked about all these things.
Right.
But the prayer was still the prayer, and how I look at it is God answered that prayer, but you were diligent in your work.
Right.
So the preparation met the answered prayer.
Yeah. Right.
You feel what I'm saying? Right. And I think that's a big thing to I salute you on that, bro, because some people just pray and they hope. And I think that you prayed and had faith, but you also had action. And I think that's the biggest thing. I think that's why you were in the position that you were in. You feel what I'm saying? So like even sitting in that blessing, like, man, I pray for this. I'm looking around, it's here.
Right.
To go from that to close deals, like God is real.
Absolutely.
God answers prayers.
Oh yeah.
Like when you put in first, this is what happens. Right. I think that's amazing to me. Just even hearing what you said, like lining it up, that's dope. You know what I mean?
Right.
And like keep going, bro. Like that's just, bro. You never know who's next, man. And I think that the relationships that you've built, also, like you a good dude, bro. And I think like, and nobody's perfect. I'm not like nobody's perfect, but like, just. If I have to recommend somebody and you've given me the top-notch experience, like it's easy to recommend you to somebody. Right. Because one, what we have is our word as men. So if I give you my word, like this is a good dude, and you've already shown that, it's just easy for your reputation to grow. You feel
Absolutely.
What I'm saying? I respect you for that, and I salute you for that, bro. So now we're talking about a little bit like wealth building, because we know we talked about it a little bit. What do you feel like separates people from being wealthy or building wealth from the people that aren't building wealth? Like what's like the main mistake you feel like people make in terms of like, just, you could just speak to real estate and and how you help manage people, but what do you think is like the biggest mistake people make in that journey to being wealthy or being rich?
I would say, and you kind of elaborated on it a little bit earlier, right? Is hoping, right? me, I, personally,
Right.
bro, I just, I don't resonate with hope.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like, hope is not a real thing to me, because hope is like, oh, I hope things go well. Okay, you could hope all day. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And we talked about God, right? Hope is not God. So at the end of the day, it's like, yo, okay, this is, I wanna be wealthy, right? First of all, I'm gonna pray on it. Then I'm gonna write down a plan. I'm gonna pray over the plan, and I'm gonna start working towards it. Because what I think people don't understand, that you don't have to have all the answers, right? You just have to have faith. So you got faith and you start working, things start happening, bro. Like, there's been many opportunities that I had, getting into real estate, and I didn't have the funds, or I didn't have the connection. And all of a sudden it's like, yo, I meet this person, and this person does this, or this person is like, hey, I like your attitude. I want to help you with this. And that's exactly what I needed, right?
Yeah.
So again, that's why I say elaborate on relationships, because relationships are a real thing.
Yeah.
And then building a plan could build you wealth. And I always say, there's a lot of people that want to do 100 things at once, right?
Yeah.
It's like you specialize in one thing, and then that's gonna be the route to giving you, the funds, and then you could start putting your hands in different pots.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I would say the answer to building wealth is, being diligent in what you believe in, because the era that we're in, bro, I feel like anybody could get rich. You could get rich selling tennis balls right now,
as long as you're good at it.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
the right
that's it, bro. If
Yeah.
if you market yourself like, I am the best tennis ball
Seller
person ever, and you package it up nice,
Yep.
you know what I'm saying, with a
Yep.
nice car, bro,
Yep.
they going straight to you.
Yep.
So anything, you could build wealth.
I love that. So let me ask you this. How much of your success do you feel like came from, how much of your success do you feel like came from relationships versus pure grind?
Yeah, that is a crazy question. Honestly, I'm gonna say it goes hand in hand.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, pure grinding to get to where you want to be and where you need to be, but the relationships matter, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I can't do business on my own.
Right.
I need a person.
Right.
It's kind of like if I'm a rapper and I drop an album and I'm the distributor.
Yeah.
I'm the mixer, I'm the master, I'm the producer, and I'm the person that's buying it. Like, I think it goes hand in hand completely.
Yeah. Okay. And like, we talked about that a little bit off camera too. We said a piece of watermelon better than a whole grape.
Yeah.
So we talked about that.
Analogy, man.
Yeah. So no, I definitely agree with that, and I think in your situation as well, it's like you never stopped grinding, but even when you didn't have relationships, you had to grind, and that's what kind of got you the relationships, because of the grind. So I think that, like, even and because like, even like you said, people like, oh yeah, like, I appreciate you, like, you a cool cat, like, I got somebody else for you. I think that comes from the grind. Like, you're knowledgeable in what you do, but you didn't just wake up one day and it's like, okay, I got the knowledge. You had to grind and get that to where people had that trust in you to, one, put their name on the line, to refer you to somebody to help. Like, you know what I'm saying, bro? Right. I think that says a lot about, first of all, that says a lot about the grind. Then also getting to where you're at says a lot about the relationships as well. I agree. So I do hear you, and I like, that was just something to add to it. I feel like, but let me ask you, speaking of like these deals and these relationships, have you ever had like a sour relationship, that like a deal that you was like, we got to walk away from this one. It looked good, sound good, but it's not sitting right in my spirit. We got to walk away.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. I actually had that happen a few times.
Yeah. Was it like a huge deal? Was it like something that your heart was set on? Like, man, I want to do this, but it's like, I just can't.
Yeah. And I think it's a moral code too, right? And I think it's also a testament to who you really are, right? Like, do you have integrity? There's people that, man, there's a bunch of
he said we ain't gonna blast. He said we ain't gonna blast you right now, but you know who you are.
I'm not saying no name.
No, I got you.
but at the end of the day, man, when you start to really deal with people and you're talking about figures, right? Like the 100 million, and then you say your friend did the over the 400 million. And there's a lot of people that you're dealing with, right? That have touched or been in business and have done large numbers, right? And when you get into that realm, you start to see, right? There's only two sides of the fence, right? There's really good people and really bad people. There's in business, there's no middle ground.
You can't muck the line. It's just
that's it. That's it. There's been situations, that we had to walk away from, just because me, I'm like, okay, I see how you treat other people. I'm not gonna get aligned with you,
right?
Because then I'm gonna be the same. I'm gonna be just like them at the end, right?
Right.
So of course,
bad company corrupts good character.
Absolutely.
So that's I can write that down.
Yeah, write that
That's
down.
a bar.
Bro, spitting facts. I love that.
I got you. So getting into like the leadership role, what would you say is harder, closing a $10 million property or staying patient with your kids?
Oh, for sure, staying patient with my kids. $10 million property.
That's light work.
That's light, man. You know what I'm saying?
No, I got
you. You know what I'm saying? And I also think too, because closing a $10 million property, there's an end point.
Yeah, no, I got
you. Know what I'm saying? Like, there's an end point. Our kids are with us forever. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
so,
yeah.
But I love, shout out to my sons, man.
Yeah.
Carter and crew, I love y'all.
Carter and crew, shout out, man. Young billionaires in the making.
For sure.
That's funny. No, I just had to ask. So I got another question for you, and I asked my guest this: what would you prefer your kids inherit, your money or your mindset?
Man, I'm gonna definitely say my mindset. Yeah,
it's it's so crazy because we get different answers, and they're not always what you would think they are. So you say your mindset. Okay, can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. My team and I, we actually talk about this a lot, and dealing with real estate, you actually see you see it. You'll see somebody had generational wealth passed down to them, and they mistreat it, or it's not being used in alignment to whoever passed it down to them would want it to be used for, right? And also heard this a long time ago, man. I listen to this audio message at least once a week. So it's on YouTube, Earl Nightingale.
Okay.
And it's just crazy. He talks about the mind, but I also heard about, it was an analogy somebody had given me years ago. And it basically said something along the lines of, if you divided all the money in the world, amongst everybody in the world evenly, it would soon find its way back into
the same hands,
pockets, right? In the same hands. And the reason why I don't believe it's because the money aspect, is because of the mindset.
Of course.
And, God forbid, but if you make $20 million and you lose it, and you have that mindset, you can get it back. We've heard several stories of 100 millionaires, billionaires
losing,
going broke or bankrupt and making it back. But if you have $20 million and a poor man's mindset, and you lose all $20 million, then you're exactly what your mind was.
Man, that's see, and so some of my guests, and I love all my people, but some of my guests would say that they would prefer the money because they don't want their kids to start where they started. But I think it's also how you were raised as well.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of what shaped your mindset, right? Like if you had to grind, get it out the mud and really get to it, and like you remember that lifestyle, you're like, nah, I don't want my kids to go back to that. Then you're like, I want the money. I want them to have the money.
Right.
But then if you look at money, maybe you look at it a bit different or whatever, and you just see like, okay, it's easy to get that as long as you can think like how I'm thinking,
right? Then
you can get it, so it's not an issue. So just take this mindset and use that to get what you got to get.
Absolutely.
I think that's something that it's interesting. It's interesting because I get to talk to my guests. I get to hear people who are actually successful, how they feel about that specific question, and it's always interesting to me to hear that. So in that, if your kids could take something from you and how you move, what would you want them to take?
Yeah, so the mindset thing for sure. Secondly, and I think being around my sons, and I totally agree with you, it's how you're raised, right? So my sons, I would say charisma. Like people tell me all the time I'm charismatic. You definitely got it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
For sure.
I think mindset and charisma will take you everywhere because mindset, if you're doing business with like-minded people, like we talk about, right? You already are in the room.
Yeah.
But if you're likable, I feel like that's going to get you further as well, right? Being likable, being well respected, and you respecting other people, then there's really no age gap for that, right?
Yeah.
You can connect with somebody that's 20 or somebody that's 65.
Yep.
And they're like, man, he's smart. I like him, you know?
Yep.
So I would definitely say, you know, mindset and charisma. But I know this is your podcast, bro.
What's up?
And I love you. But I gotta ask you that question.
What's
too.
up? Oh, yeah.
Like I know you got a beautiful family. What
Yeah.
would you choose? Like in terms of the mindset or the money for your daughters? Like what would you want them to have? It's just such a good question.
It is really a good question. Nobody's asked me, so nobody's asked me. I've been thinking about it too. It will be my mindset, bro.
Okay.
And I say this, and the reason I say this is, bro, is my mindset, how I think, and I agree with you with charisma. I think I have a different confidence to me, but I'm humble in it.
Right.
But it's still a confidence. I believe. Well, it's not even a confidence in myself, really. It's a confidence in God. So I have faith, so I don't fear anything. So my fear allows me to be my fear of God and not fear of anything. If anything else, allows me to be confident. But that also allows me to be charismatic.
Right.
So then I look at things through a different lens. I don't look at things like I can't get it done. I say, how do we get it done?
Right.
So then if my daughters thought like I tell my daughters all the time, like, I don't ever want to hear you say I can't do it.
Same.
You could say I can't do it yet. I'll give you that because I don't want you to sit here and speak something that like it's still true. Like if you fail at something, like you can't do it yet. I understand that, but it doesn't mean you can't do it. So like I push that on them because my mindset allowed me to go, like, if I want, I can go. I can go learn how to be a real estate agent. My mindset allows me to do that. My charisma allows. I can go sell what I need to sell to anybody because I have faith. I'm not afraid of you telling me no.
Right.
But people's mindset, that's like that's a fragile thing.
Right.
Like if I can break your mind down, then like you're done.
Oh, absolutely.
So I think that like I would say mindset just because there's so many ways to make money. That if you have a good mental if you got a good head on your shoulders, you could figure out how to get some bread.
Right. Oh, for sure.
And you could figure out how to manage that bread. You could figure out how to flip that bread.
I think it's harder when you don't have money and you have a strong mindset.
Yeah.
Because like you said, people
sure.
around you are like, this dude's hella crazy. Like, what are you expecting to happen in your current situation? It's like, I know in here and I know up there it's gonna get done, bro. You just not thinking or praying or planning the way I'm thinking, praying and planning. You know what I mean?
And that's how I feel, bro. I think that God even says, he said, if you pray to me, if you ask me in prayer, anything is possible.
Right.
And it says, but you must forgive those who you can't hold a grudge, and you must forgive those who have done you wrong. And that's in the word, but I think that's also building a mindset because some people will walk through this world and hold grudges for the longest periods of time and block their blessings and think things are bigger than they are.
Right.
And that is first of all, to me, that's the enemy controlling your mind.
Right.
And that's what the enemy want. He want to control your mind so you can't do nothing, so you're rendered useless.
Yeah.
And so like we can't have that.
Absolutely.
In my household, that's I'm talking about from my wife to my daughters. Like I pour into my wife and just me and her, like I just make sure her mind is good because she's gonna be the one like with my daughters all the time. Like I'm be with my daughters too, but like most of the time, like I tell you her mindset's strong. So their mindset's strong. And it's like, no, I can't, no breakdowns, no claiming, oh, I have anxiety. No, you don't.
Right.
Like and I'm not disrespecting anybody who has anxiety.
No,
I'm
I
not saying
know what you
that.
mean.
But I'm not about to let you
start
speak.
Speaking it, it starts to happen.
Come from your brain to your heart, out your mouth, and then whatever you speak
comes true.
I never received anything I ever got and I didn't speak it first. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say.
And keep in mind too, like we talked about the figures and stuff, but you know, we gotta invest and reinvest in our business, reinvest in the team. So, you know, I always say, I'm not rich yet, but I'm gonna be. And I always tell people will ask me like, hey, are you a millionaire? And I say, oh yeah.
Yeah.
And even you know, when I was working at Sam's, I'll be telling people like,
Yeah.
man, I'm not gonna be here long.
Right.
I'm a 100 millionaire.
Right.
And they be looking at me like, what is he talking about?
Now what they're looking at.
You know what I'm
They
saying?
look at this pod.
And then now it's out, you know, and then billionaire and so on. And it's not about the money.
Right.
It's just about the mind. And like we talk about, and also it's like, can I do it? And I agree with you, bro. There's nothing I've ever said to anybody that hasn't come true. And I think that also plays a part in how connected you are with God and how strong your faith is, right? And what you're utilizing that for, you know? So if you utilizing it for the right way or the right reasons, I feel like you get blessed faster because it's like, oh, I know what you're going to do.
And you're diligent with what he gave you. And he said, if you're diligent in a little, you're going to be diligent with a lot.
With a lot.
And I think that's the biggest thing, bro. But that all boils down to the mindset. Like it says in the Bible, like renewal of your mind. Renewal of your mind. It don't say renewal of the finances. It don't say none of that. It says, if you ask, it shall be added unto you. So you have to have the right mindset to even be able to handle that blessing, bro.
Right. Which is why I feel like a lot of people say like, man, I've been praying to God for this and I haven't gotten it yet. And it's like, okay, well, you pray to God for that thing 3 years ago, but you are still the same person. You know, you are still the same person
with the same
mind, no plan,
man,
no change,
man.
You know,
bro,
no got steps in effort, bro.
Look, I'm saying, and that's really I think that's really the driving force in how I try to lead my family, bro. And I had to change, bro. And like having 5 daughters in 5 years, bro, changed me. And the reason it changed me is because, and I'm not perfect, so the reason it changed is because like I look at how I speak to my wife different. I look at the things I say out my mouth different. Like I think about the things I say before I say them because one, I got this little 5-year-old there that downloads everything that she hears. She just constant download mode, bro. Right. She just like, okay. Like, and then and I hear her talking. I'm like, you sound like, no, you know what I'm saying? Like, you sound like me. Yeah. And then I'm like, okay, cool. But that's also like, okay, she sounds like you. Switch on, like, what are you going to say now?
Right.
What's the next thing? So then I think that's just really important as a father, as a leader, as a man of God. Your mindset, your heart got to be A1 because God will add anything. Like you could go today, somebody call you with a $100 million deal. And
you're going to put that in there.
Amen. We receive it. We receive it.
I'm going to drop the homie a fat bag.
Yeah, no.
It up. Hey, I got something. Hey,
look,
bro.
100 million? Holla at me. Look, no, but for real though, bro, I think that's something that you prep. Like, for example, in the Bible, it talks about how Jesus said, all right, put your net on the other side.
Right.
My biggest thing is the fish were already over there.
Right.
The fish were already over there.
Right.
They just had to just reposition themselves.
That's it.
They just had to reposition. They had to turn a little bit.
Right.
A lot of people out here is just hoping that the fish will swim to the other side. And that's the issue.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
I agree.
And that's the issue. So I think that, mindset, that's a long-winded answer, but hopefully that y'all got some gems out of that. I think that's the biggest thing. I agree with you 1,000%. So we got the 100 million, the goal, check, right. What do you want your legacy to be in terms of just Christian pace?
So my granddad, he actually passed away like on the 27th, right?
Yeah.
And that was my God, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
And it's tough for me. So we would talk all the time. I see him 3-4 times a week.
Yeah.
And he's like the biggest USC fan ever, right?
Fight on.
And fight on for sure. And he would always tell me, right, stay humble. So, and I would tell him like, Grand, I'm gonna stay humble. Like I want to change the world to basically be where I have at least 5,000 people at my funeral. And I always told my granddad that, right? And everybody to say amazing things about me. And I'm not saying that to like brag or anything, but I think that's what I want my legacy. I want my legacy to be anybody that came in contact with me, I treated with the most love and utmost respect to the point where there's no bad blood. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking like if I'm in an airport and somebody dropped their wallet and they got their ID in it, like I'm not taking a dime and I'm going to send it back to you.
Right.
Now, if you're in the airport and I didn't see you drop your wallet and you ain't no information in the wallet, I'm going to keep the wallet. I'm going to be honest.
Hey, y'all. Hope y'all enjoying this conversation. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're going to be dropping every Wednesday, full of game and tips on how to build your business and actually get to this wealth. We love y'all. I'm going to see y'all on the other side. So essentially, like, I think even what you said, in people being at your funeral, I think that has to do with the character. And we're called to love our neighbor as ourselves. That's like the second most important commandment it says in the word. So I think that even that mindset is still biblical.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? That's still a biblical mindset to have. And it's not so much of like recognition of people at your funeral. It's just like, if I've impacted you enough for you to be hurt that I'm gone, then I've done my job, essentially. So I hear that. I definitely hear that. And I think that just like your character, bro, I think it's like, and like, keep in mind, nobody's perfect, and we're not saying anybody's perfect, and we strive to be better every single day. But I think that there's still a mindset and foundational principles that you have to even strive for that. I think that you show those in your like everyday life and how you speak and how you deal with people. So I think that's just commendable, bro.
Thank you, bro.
And if anybody, like, let's talk about, like, if somebody does want to, like, somebody wants to get to where you're at and they're like, man, Christian's dope, what you are. And like, I want to get to I want to get $180,000 check. I want to go home and stare at that check. You know what I'm saying? like I want to hit 100 million. Like, what would be, like, where would they start? Like, what would be the first step? And like, how long does it take to be a real estate agent, I guess?
Yeah, no, that's a great question, man. So, I mean, anybody could do it.
Right.
Like, anybody, we talked about the mindset thing. If you have the mindset, right, and the tenacity, you can make it happen, right?
Yeah.
So where would you start? Basically, it's kind of like a trade school where I went to.
Okay.
And I mean, they have them anywhere. You can go in person, you can go online. If it helps, right, somebody could DM me directly on Instagram. I'm happy to share any information. And as far as the timeline, it really just depends on the dedication of the person. Now, there are some like limitations when it comes to the classes. Not limitations, but I would say like time lapses that you have to follow.
Yeah.
So I want to say, I mean, it's been so long since I've taken the test, but I want to say like 6 months.
Okay.
I want to say like 4 to 6 months is probably within the timeline of like you completing it as quickly as possible.
Okay. You said 4 to 6?
I want to say, yeah, like somewhere around that. Like I said, I haven't studied the material in so long, so things could have changed. But as far as steps on where to go or where to start, I'm happy to share any information.
That's fire. And speaking on you and your, I guess, the knowledge you have in the game, would you recommend people get started with residential, or you recommend them get started with commercial?
I would say it's really just a preference.
Okay.
It's really just a preference, right? I guess you could just say your personal interest and your character, right? Some people are strictly business based. They're like, I don't want to go off any emotion. I just want to go off figures and the facts.
Right.
And then there's some people, right, that are like, I just want to go off, really helping people, connecting with people. And I don't want to at all just condense anyone, right? But and I know, just like men, right, women could do anything,
right?
But I've seen so many women thrive in the residential space.
Okay.
And I think it's because women just happen to be a lot more like emotionally in tuned. You know what I mean?
Emotional intelligence.
The emotional intelligence is up there. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to all the ladies in our room. We love all y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and not saying that they can't do commercial, because there's some really business savvy women, right?
Of course.
But if we have any women watching this and they're kind of just on the fence of where they would want to be, I would say that could be a good start. And not to say that, they can't eventually get into commercial, but I feel, I see, like I said, personally, a lot of women thrive there.
Okay.
And then as far as, as it goes for men, it would just be based on your personality, right?
Okay.
If you're more like in tune emotionally, maybe that could be your start. But if a guy's like more in tune, business savvy, and just all facts type of guy, then commercial
probably
maybe
the route.
Right.
Okay, cool. So somebody getting started with real estate, and they do get their license, they do the test, they wait the 4 months to 6 months, they get going. What will be the next step to, like, because I know you said you waited you waited 7 months to get your first deal. So just in that timeline alone, like max, well, not max, but let's use you as a example. You're looking at 6 months. That's like a year and a month to get your first deal from when you start. When you start real estate, is that typically like the reality of the situation?
I mean, everybody's gonna be completely different.
Is that the mindset thing we talked about?
Yeah.
Okay.
And also too, it's like I said, I mean, when I came into the game, I had no prior like experience. Like I said, my parents never owned a property.
Okay.
So it wasn't like, hey, when you get your real estate license, my parents were like real estate agents and brokers, and then they passed me down a client sheet or a client list.
Right.
So literally, I'm starting completely on my own. And, you know, for a lot of people, it's their largest asset that they would ever own. And they have, you know, a lot of ties to their home. They love their home connections. They want the right person.
Yeah.
And, you know, I had nothing to show for it at the time.
Yeah.
So I'm door knocking, cold calling, trying to get somebody to trust me.
Right.
And like I said, I'm 19, just turning 20.
Yeah.
You know, for a lot of people, I was like their kids' age, and their kids are just in college. They're like,
what you doing here, bro?
I'm not gonna sell my $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 $1 million house, and then anything goes wrong, right? You walk away, and I'm homeless, right? Which is a real reality, right? So for everybody, it's different though. I've heard people get their license, and 2 weeks later they close a deal. Their aunt is moving or selling, you know, or their cousin has something that they want to buy, and they're the only agent that they know. Or a lot of people I know get their real estate license, and their parents and grandparents and great grandparents had already been real estate agents and brokers, and they own a real estate brokerage. So they walking into closing multiple deals. You know, so it really is just dependent upon
your
each
situation. I didn't even think about that. So, like a legacy type of thing, like a legacy kind of like you passing down your book of clients. Basically.
Yeah. So we do a lot in our team. We do everywhere: San Diego, LA, Orange County, Inland Empire. Now, I mainly do Orange County.
Okay,
that's just like where most of my client base is. So when we're in Orange County, like I would say, like 7 out of 10 people, parents and grandparents, etc., have already done real estate. So you'll see, or own multiple houses, right? So you'll see a guy like get licensed, or a girl, and you know, they
closing the deal off the rip,
right? But then a lot of times you hear certain situations where they're not doing things correctly, or things have to be fixed, or they're getting sued just because they're getting these clients, but they don't have the knowledge or information. I mean, I tell people all the time, if we can put real estate in any relation to any other career, I would say you're as close to a lawyer or an attorney as possible. Okay. Basically, like you are an attorney or a lawyer representing the sale of a home. So the contracts, the knowledge, you can get sued, you could lose your license. All these things are real factors. That's crazy. You know what I mean? So it's not like, oh, I'm going to just get licensed, sell a house, and make money. Like, you have to know what you're doing, because you as an individual are at risk as well. You know what I mean?
Like your practice, essentially. Right. And I did life insurance for a little bit, and I think we've had like insurance for mistakes. Do you guys have like omissions and errors? Like
errors and omissions.
Errors and omissions. Yeah. So you guys have something like that?
We do.
Okay,
we do.
Cool. So even in that situation, that kind of plays a part in like you don't want to. That's something you don't want to use.
Right.
That's just like that's bad if you use it. That okay? You ain't gonna study some more. but no. Okay, cool. That's fire. So anybody who's looking to be a real estate agent or looking to follow down the path that Christian did, he gave you the game, he gave you the knowledge on what to look for and what to look at. It does depend on you. And I think that's one of the biggest things. Like we discussed mindset, we discussed faith, we discussed actually how to do it, the ways he's made these connections. Like it's your circle. So you have the game and the knowledge you need to really go be successful. That's why we created a community, so you can be there. So you're not doing it alone. Christian will be there. He's not going to be there all the time. He's busy. Like we say, he's a father, but he will pop up and he will give you guys a little bit of game live, and the recordings will be inside the group. So you guys can always revert back to that and see what he's talking about, answering different questions. And if you want to work directly with him, the links are below. Also, he'll be in the group. You can message him in the group as well. But that's just to show you guys that together we can do a lot more. And like, this is part of my circle. These are part of my relationships. And I'm just opening it up to you guys so you guys can better yourself and your family. Also while showing that God is the one that's driving this whole thing. So, but wait, we got to do a speed round.
Okay.
We do a speed round every time.
Okay.
Rapid fire, quick questions, quick answers. You ready?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Let's do it.
So, money or peace?
Peace.
Cool. Sleep or grind?
Ryan.
Okay. Faith or feelings?
Faith.
Okay, cool. Luxury or longevity?
Longevity.
Cool. Would you rather your kids, we already did this, but would you rather your kids inherit your money or your mindset?
Mindset.
We already said mindset. That's it. And what would you say to a young man out there who wants to build wealth but doesn't know where to start?
I would say ask questions to anybody that is doing what you want to be doing. That's the most important thing. And show up, be clean, and be coachable.
That's love. That's love. That's fire. Man, I appreciate you, CP.
Man, thank you.
Appreciate you pulling up on me. The $100 million man. This is from his side. I'm your host, Theron Lauderman. We appreciate y'all pulling up. We love y'all.
Thank you.
Big deuces.